How you doing? This is Brother T. If you want to support the channel, we have t-shirts and other merch right there in the description. Just hit the link.
You were a star child, let your light shine for all the world. When you open your mouth to reveal a pearl, let it shine more, just to light the path. If it don't add up, man, just do the math. If it ain't for you, let it pass on through.
How you doing? This is Terrion Wilson, aka your boy Brotha T, here with another one. So we like to call this channel T's Life Tree. And on this channel, we like to give you little pine cones of wisdom. If you don't know what that is, stick around, stay on the channel, you'll get it. Before we get started, I need you to like and subscribe. And while you're doing that, hit that notification bell. Make sure it says all notifications. If you continue to do those things, then we can continue to give you these pine cones of wisdom. So today we're this is gonna get deep. So this is gonna be a little series I like to call How Fill in the Blank Ruined the Relationship. So we're going to talk about things that happen in a relationship, outside influences that help the relationship overall deteriorate. The relationship between men and women especially. All right, so this particular one is called How Oprah Ruined the Relationship. All right, we're talking about the show, not Oprah Winfrey the person, Oprah the show. All right, so how Oprah ruined the relationship. Before we go into it, if you're a younger viewer, then you might want to get brushed up because all you know is the OWN network and all that stuff. But when Oprah first started, she was I believe an anchor person on a news blog, I think in Tennessee maybe, and she segued into talk show circuit. Now at the time, daytime talk shows were all the rage. They were getting kind of big. You had a few very popular ones. A lot of you out there older than 35 will remember like Donahue, right? Geraldo Rivera, Sally Jesse Raphael. I'm dating myself, and a few more. This is before the Jerry Springers and all that mess, right? And these are like serious talk shows. They would have serious subject matters, and they would talk about things that really affected people on a deep level. So Oprah Winfrey's show started, and it was more in that form. I likened it to like a Donahue type show. Now Donahue was very popular. For those that didn't know, Phil Donahue, he was very popular, and he was good for bringing on pro-black guests, and he would go a little further than other shows went, just to get an actual perspective, a wide perspective, a different worldview, to get people together and get dialogue going. So I really appreciated those platforms. Oprah started like this. It wasn't bad, okay? So what ended up happening? You say, Brother T, how can that ruin the relationship? What happened was later on, it started to evolve. Now, sometimes shows go through an evolution where they start getting into different things, and they start going a certain way. Actually, Jerry Springer even started like that. It started as a serious talk show. A lot of people don't even know that, right? But when it started out, I actually remember watching the first few episodes, and he was very serious. It was in a Phil Donahue type of style. And he just evolved to the trailer trash and ghetto fights. He evolved to that, because that's what was paying the bills. Maury as well. Maury started out as a serious show, and then after a while, it turned into the paternity test hour. Gradually, because I guess that's where the viewers were coming from. Hey, I'm just saying. So what did she evolve to? She evolved to a one-sided way to look at relationships. Now, after a while, I noticed, especially in the early 90s, right? That's when she started to turn more towards, where men were always the victimizers and the women were always the victims. We always had show after show after show of a husband cheating, or husband did this, or a man did this, and should I forgive him? And this, it just hit us in the head over and over again, and it portrayed most women as innocent victims of everything, right? And we all know that's not life, right? And I'm not attacking the ladies out there, I'm just saying it's a little more balanced than what it's shown to be. The guys, there's a poll, and I might try to find it, that says men cheat around 28% of the time and women are cheating 24% of the time. It's closer than we think, right? But when it's portrayed in the media, it's portrayed as if it's one way, and that's just not necessarily true. So what happened in this? See, when you're watching something day by day, especially if you're impressionable in any kind of way, things can affect you. And if they're not telling the whole truth, it's partially true. But if they're not telling you the whole truth, you can start a movement, right? You start a movement. Now, that can be positive and negative. So seeing these images over and over again, what happens? What happens? What happens to the women that are impressionable? We're talking about the younger women that are growing up with that. They're growing up seeing the women be the victims, the men being the victimizers. Now, what happens when you get to the age where you're dating and you have relationships, and all you've known for the past 10 years, because you grew up on it, was men are victimizers. So now every time something doesn't go right in a relationship, all of a sudden you're the victim. See what I'm saying? You can start that. And I think that helped start that wave. So what are some of the things specifically that happened on that show that helped ruin the relationship? Let's go into it. So it helped perpetuate the fact that society taught women to be bad girlfriends and needy wives. What do I mean by bad girlfriends? I mean, the type of girlfriend that's never satisfied. Like, no matter what you do, I mean, you can make six-figure salary. You can be 6 feet tall. You can be a porn star in the bedroom. You can pay for everything, pay for the house, pay for the life, pay for everything. And the one time that she's not happy with you, she can be out and say, hey, I'm leaving. We all know. I mean, look at the athletes when they retire, right? And the money's not as good as it used to be. They get left. Entertainers, they get left. You get what I'm saying? And they go find the next guy that's got that money. That's what happens a lot of times. So society taught that. She reinforced it. Now, just one side note before I get to the next part of some of the things that happened on that show that helped us get to the point we are in our relationship statuses. This is a quick note for some of the ladies out there. Now, we all know that the whole, sexual thing, we know that men really want that, right? And we know that there's a certain power in that, right? You possess the power to say yes or no to a man, go in there with you, right? On that level. I want you to bring, if you want to be in a long-term relationship, or if you want something a little more healthy, I want you to bring other value to it. That's just a quick note to some of you out there, all right? Just so you won't be tripping. All right, so let's get back on it. What else happened on that show that helped us get to the point that we are in our relationships? They show one-sided views, right? And I just talked about that. And that's during that time frame from the 1980s all the way up to around 2011 when they canceled the show. We were in, I'll let you go with the 80s, right? But at least from the 90s up until 2011, we just got inundated with the same thing over and over again. We saw the image after image after image as if it wasn't happening on the other side. And when you have that portrayal in the media over and over and over and over again, you create kind of like a group think, or you can call it even a paradigm where, women just think like that. And they're growing up and that's what they think relationships are. They're almost, and some of them are going into relationships expecting a man to be a certain way. And if you don't line up to those toxic things, they'll get rid of you quicker. That's another story for a whole other time. Let's get back to the list. So what else did it do? The show portrayed the man as the villain. Now, I kind of talked about that earlier when they showed him as the victimizer every single time, over and over again. Very rarely did I see on that show, I didn't say it didn't happen, but it wasn't the norm to show balance, to show the man's perspective on it. Instead, hey, let's come down on the man. Let's talk about him. And he would be on the show, on the panel, and they would be giving him hell as if nobody does wrong but the man in the relationship. When something is repeated over and over again on repeat, hard to break that cycle, especially when it goes into a person's subconscious over and over and over again. Then that's the way they're going to think, and that's the way they're going to conduct their life. All right. So this is not a personal attack on Oprah. I think Oprah is, a decent person and everything. And, but I'm just showing you that some of the effects of those old shows are still with us on the relationship side. Now, this is going to be a whole series. So this is not, like I said, directed towards her particular. I just want to give you a bigger world view on what really happened. How do we get to the point where men and women are so separate, right? We still love each other. We still want each other, but we are so separated in our thinking. We can't get on the same path, right? We're not ever going to think the same because we're different. But if we can get on the same path, the same direction, then we can make this thing work out and have healthier, more fulfilling relationships. Now, this is your man, Brotha T. I hope you enjoyed the show. I want you to leave a comment whether you agreed with me or whether you disagree with me. I'm good with that, right? Go ahead and leave me a comment. Make sure you like and subscribe though. You know what I'm saying? You can even dislike if you don't like the video. I'm cool with that too, right? I'll take that. And I'm going to have more in the series, right? So I'll catch you later, fam. Peace.